Chair, and I recognize the gentleman from the Northern Marianas. For 5 minutes, Mr. Sublime.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Madam Secretary, your Deputy and Budget Director, welcome. Good morning. Let me start first by commending and recognizing the Biden administration's recognition of Insular Affairs programs, some of the programs in your administration of the budget for 4 insular areas, the Energizing Insular Communities program, which I still think requires a plan, but nonetheless, I recognize that the additional help in technical assistance program as well. And Madam Secretary, the capital improvement project, which started with covenant funding for the Northern Marianas, and particularly, was started at $27.7 million 40 years ago and has remained at that number until this year. We see an increase, a proposed increase of $4 million. Thank you very much. Thank you to the department for listening. Of course, more listening is needed, but thank you anyways. Madam Secretary, could you please tell us if other departments or agencies will follow your department, Interior's lead, and start to waive match requirements for the insular areas? At the IGIA meeting in February, you announced that OMB has directed all federal departments and agencies to conduct a review of the law to see if there were any authorizing statute that could bar waiving local match requirements for federal grants to the Marianas and other insular areas. Congress has already waived the local match requirement for amounts below $200,000, but OMB directed federal grantors to work to implement the law's waiver for amounts greater than $200,000, absent an agency-specific statute that conflicts. Will other federal grantors follow Interior's lead of additional waiver?
Thank you, Mr. Sablan. And of course, I'm happy to take that message back to the White House. And we recognize the importance of reducing the financial burden on these communities and increasing flexibility for the grant funding for underserved communities. I know it's a relatively small portion of our budget, but it really goes a long way in the communities that these grants serve. So we're happy to
No, thank you for your effort, your decision also, but we look forward to seeing the response from the other several agencies and departments. So, Madam Secretary, can you give us an update on when Congress can expect to receive the final compact's bilateral agreements? The second round of financial assistance under the compacts of free associations, which govern the relationships between the United States and the Federated States of Micronesia, then the republics of the Marshall Islands and Palau, are coming to an end in 2023 and next year in 2024. I commend your department and Office of Insular Affairs for your efforts supporting Special Envoy Joseph Yun in achieving signed memorandum of understandings with all 3 compact countries on the basic levels of compact funding for the next 20 years. However, there isn't much time left before the end of this fiscal year when authorizations for funding to the Marshall Islands and FSM will expire. When the compact agreements are transmitted to Congress, will they include the administration's proposed funding sources? We need to prevent a repeat of the Palau compact renewal which took 7 years to approve again, and because of differences between the administration and Congress funding source. One time we're talking about even passport fees. At this time, we need these agreements approved, signed by Congress, signed and approved by Congress. It's in our interest at this time without going through too much. Can you tell us when we can expect this, please?
Thank you so much. I know how important this is to you, and it's also important, very important to us. Assistant Secretary Cantor, who I know you're in touch with, is working closely with Ambassador Yoon, and compact negotiations are moving forward with the ambassador and the State Department. They're ongoing. We're making progress with the FSM and Palau, and my team has been meeting with FSM in Washington, D.C. to finish these negotiations on some of the subsidiary agreements under the compacts. So what I can tell you is that they're moving forward. We're pleased with the progress, and we're happy to have Assistant Secretary Cantor stay in touch with your office as to timing.
Thank you very much. You bet. Thank you.
Gentleman yields back. The chair now recognizes for 5 minutes. The gentleman